Good evening. Today we had the good old fly-blown galloping hooves on at headquarters at Randwick. I'll get to that meeting very quickly. Today, a week ago at Newcastle, we had the meeting up in the coalfields. The track was good. The rail was 6 metres out, and I must say there was no bias. There was no bias on the track at all. At Newcastle on the 10th of January. You could lead and win, and you could run on from behind, down the outside, through the comics, no bias. We went to Canterbury, and as you know, I used to call it Canterbury Park. But Canterbury, please, whatever you do, don't get rid of Canterbury. You'll be very sorry you did. Canterbury on Wednesday played very fair. The track, well, going back to Newcastle, the track was good and it was 6 metres out, which I said. The track at Canterbury on Wednesday, it was a good 4. The rail was normal, and there was a bit of a breeze blowing out of the straight into their face down the back straight, but that wasn't enough to stop leaders from winning. We had a couple of leaders win, and we had runners that ran on from behind, possibly early in the day when the wind was a little bit stronger, it could have been against the leaders. We went these filthy Friday twilight meetings for all of the tradies who knock off at 1 o'clock or between 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get to the Rubbity and have about 18 Blue Lagooners and sit there and bet on the TAB's got it all organised. They tell the clubs what time they've got to start their meetings. 2:13 it was. What are the people involved in this game to keep it going? You know, the hickey hockeys, the trainers, and stable hands, bookies, clerks, blah blah blah. You know, yes, the trainers were up at. Well, I was up early. I'm not going to start crying bloody what the story is, but you know, trainers and jockeys. Are only up at 3 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the morning. Get out, track work. You know, yes, drive up to Gosford. Go home after track work. Drive to Gosford. Try and get a bit of a kip. Yes, ride there in the afternoon. Come home. Get home at 8 o'clock in the morning. Have a lettuce leaf and then a glass of water. Go to bed. Get up and go to track work the next morning. You fair dinkum low filthy bludgers. You're the cancer of racing, you filthy TAB. You got your propaganda machine. You own everything. You watch everything you listen to. It's an absolute joke. You fair dinkum, I wish you'd all fall down. Anyway, and there we were. We got to Gosford. There was no one there. Few people walking around, absolutely fly blown, and the track has played maybe a little bit off the fence, but the first winner led all the way. Second horse railed up behind it on the fence. There was another runner in the third race that sat back in last position, never went around a runner. Was eased from a very wide alley, talking about chosen player, through the second outside alley at about 15 or whatever it was, 13, went back to eased out of the race at the start, ridden by Christian Reith, went straight back to the eased out of, as I say, eased out of the start, back to the fence, and never left it, and got up along the inside and won. I said, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with the fence here. But then later on the day, it was a little bit easy to swoop, especially if there was a bit of pace on, and possibly just off the fence was a little bit better. That was yesterday at Gosford, the 16th. Now we got to headquarters today at Randwick. We're not going to call it headquarters anymore. We're going to call it the biggest pub in the eastern suburbs. There's more people in the pub at headquarters than down at the Royal Oak at Double Bay, or the Coogee Bay Hotel, or the Oceanic. Oh, Jesus Christ. And they do not know the captains exist. We're over there betting 85 and 95 every race and losing figures. And they're over there, and I look every to the just over in the pub, only 40 yards away from the betting ring. There they are. As soon as the machine, one of those ding-dong bell machines, get vacated by some imbo, and someone else steps in and presses the fair dinkum buttons. It just absolutely drives you mad. And they just go out there to pen and ink, and that's the way these clubs promote it now. They should be kicked right up the arse, and the way they promote the racing game now, and come out. Gosford's changed to it's a club now. It's whatever they call it these, and Randwick. That's the way they do it. Yes, come out and get pen and inked, and we'll give you it and sell it to you, and you just come out. Nothing about betting, and the filthy TAB have got the bloke from Bonanza and all these other blokes and telling you how good it is, and I'll bet up you. But it's just the game is, well, someone play, every time I speak to a trainer or anyone involved right in the game, you say, oh yeah, how you going? Oh, well, Gary, like, we're completely, it's just no good. You can't, it's completely and utterly, won't anybody stand up and start telling everybody the truth, tell the government the truth, that the game is fly-blown. It is maggotless. The meeting there today at Randwick, it's fair dinkum. It's not even the silver ring. It's a fair dinkum fly-blown fucking joint it is. It's the biggest pub in town. That's all it is. The members, they're doing the club thing now with the members. Oh yes, the members jackpot, lucky badge draw. There'll never be one. It'll get to 350 million. You've only got to drive when you walk in. There's the members' car park. It's empty. The members' car park's empty. See how they were a Jerry. Why? That's why they've got the promotion on. It's up to 16,000 now. It'll be up to 160 million one day. No, members don't even turn up. The members' car park. There's four. The only members' car people parked in the members' car park are the hickey hockeys, and a few Captain Cookies. There's not a member in sight. What a beauty it is. They say, oh well, it's got to. They're trying to entice the members out there. First race here today, we bet 98% only. The favourite won the race, Good Project. Settle back off the pace, looking at the second favourite. I Am Impressed. A good 5 lengths behind it when they went out of the back straight. But then Horseman Bowman, rated it perfectly and rounded the runner that sat outside the leader, Invisible, up near the line to win by 0.2 of a length. And it was 2.5 lengths back to the second pick, I Am Impressed. We put it up at $1.90 chance, Good Project. That will have you 10 to 9, got out to $2.20, back into $2.10 towards the end of betting. As I say, we only gave 98, not worth a caser, and the Avery got the money. And the second horse was back from $11 into $8.50 at one stage, back out to 9. The second race, well, aren't we so pleased here that the stewards, they got hold of an actuary. They got hold of an actuary, and the actuary explained to them how when there's a late scratching, how the deductions should be mobilised. Oh, see, this is the way. What you've got to do the actuary told the Stipes and put it and explained it all in very big high detail. Oh, you've got to add up the percentage on the board, and then you take this from that, and then you subtract that, and then what you do is hundredize the whole thing, and then you come up and you say, oh yes, instead of being when the bookies have got 160% on the board, oh how, and an 8-to-1 chance comes out, oh we can't take out 10 or 11 cents out of the dollar because they've got far too much percentage on the board. Oh yes, well that's true. And those meetings up at Port Macquarie and Cessnock and Taree and Dubbo and Wollumbar and all those places, we go on and name all those country places where they have got that percentage on the board when they jump. There's a lot of people at the track and they're all betting with the bookies. The bookies are looking at themselves. They've got a mirror there, and they threw out a net to try and catch a grumble and grunter. But every time they pulled it in, they pulled in air. They're not a punter in sight. It wouldn't matter if you put up 200 to 1 the even money chance. There's not a customer there to back the things. Don't you understand? It's all a myth. But the actuary, he told the bookies, he told the stewards, he said, oh no, he said, the punters aren't getting a fair deal here. Well, did they get a fair deal here in the second race? Well, we only gave 89%. The actuary was a Captain Cooking himself once. We gave 89%, and the only runner that all the bookies were pinning their hopes on was number 8. What's it called? Linskable, whatever, unsinkable it is. We were all saying, oh Christ, please, unsinkable, come down the outside and win. It was only 40s out to 60 to 1, 40s out to 60s, and we bet 89%. And guess what? There was no deduction. There was 1 cent for the place, but nothing for the win. Oh, because towards the end of the betting, we must have had a shithouse full of per on our board. Oh, it must have been really fat. The actuary would be looking at it and say, well, there you go, I'm right again. You know, it was 60 to 1, and look, they add up 12%. Tell the imbecile that one of the runners that should have most probably won the race, number 10 Fireworks, was $17 into $5 taken, and blah, blah, blah. Do you really want me to go on? We bet 89%, 100 to 1 chance came out. It's not a lot of money, I know, but there was no deduction, not even the 1 cent for the 60 to 1 chance that came out. Oh, because the actuary, he drew the right thing up for the Stipes there. And in this race, the winner, trained by John O'Shea for Darley, ridden by James McDonald, Holler, it sat outside the leader, and that was Gigolo. And I yelled out before the race, would the owners, Gigolo, please step forward? And even Mother Teresa in the betting ring, he had a bit of a giggle. I was aiming at him, the comment at him really. It was only 5 to 2 to $3.50 out to $7. $3.50 out to $7. 5 to 2 to 6s. It wouldn't matter if you went 10s. You wouldn't have found a customer for it. Anyone who wanted to back Gigolo, you gave them a brief and you said fill it out yourself. I did leave, and ran third last, fourth last, beaten about 4.5, 5 lengths. Never had a price, and go on. The runner that they put all the money on, even the second horse was well back from $31 or $30 into $19. And as I said, the third horse, Fireworks, it was back from $17 into $5, hard to get towards the end of betting. And the start of the race was most probably its undoing. It knuckled, not really badly when it jumped, but it did knuckle, and the rider, Cowboy Tommy Terrific Berry, Cowboy, he elected to go back, and he went back, and he was 2 lengths behind the second last horse, and made up an enormous amount of ground down the outside. The margins were 1 length, or was it 1.3 lengths by 2.1 lengths. It was beat 2.1, and the winner sat outside the leader, coasting. Holler was holding the other pair on the line, but the other pair, of course, made long searching runs. Race 3, we gave 103% in this race, and that good boy Sam Kavanagh, he was on the TAB's propaganda machine this morning, 2KY or whatever they call it. Well, they might call it something different these days. Sky Media racing thing, that the bloke from Bonanza, I own the lead, bought him a big tit for tat, and it's got Hoss on it. Oh, wasn't it lovely? Wasn't it lovely? What a lovely prezi. Anyway, Sammy Kavanagh, he had a couple of runners in this race, and he did say that the winner was flying Palazzo Publico, and it's won its last 2 starts. And gee whiz, how didn't it win by further at Wyong? It just fell in the maiden there. Then it went to Warwick Farm and won. And I'm the lady, who I think is a much better performed horse than well, I think you can't put the 2 horses together, but it didn't get the chocolates. The third horse here, and the stablemate to the winner, it missed the kick like it did last start. It jumped very well when it had its first start in the race at Canterbury, and found that Bunny, and just won like a nice horse. But today, like it did its last 2 starts, came out awkwardly. It has to have barrier training to jump out of the barriers, and has got a trial before the stewards. It's going for a spell before it races again. It was $4.40 out to $5.50. I'm as a lady. The stablemate Palazzo Publico, well, it happened to be $11 into $5.50. It sat outside the leader, Pinch Me, trained by I Own the Lead. I Own the Lead. She's just, all of the runners have got to lead. That's all there is, because on an average, we get a slow run race every now and again, and that gives us victory. But anyway, it didn't turn out right this time, because Pinch Me did lead, and it sat outside it, the winner, Palazzo Publico, whatever you call it, and it got past it, topping the rise. Sitting in third position was Rule the River, having every possible chance, and the stablemate to the winner, who missed the kick and settled down last on the fence, made up a mile of ground to get in between runners and hit the line, only beaten 1.3 lengths. It's a nice horse. Now, race 4, we only gave 92% in this race. These were the flucky flucked. Worldwide, number 1 was Scratch Chord Connection. Worldwide was only $15 out to $30. Gregory Aeroplane was only $3.40 out to $4.60, back into $4.40. Fraser's was $11 out to $17, which you wouldn't see, back into $12, back out to $13. Corabetti, the winner, boy, am I on the trainer's side here? Fair dinkum. I'm going to tell you something here. Racing is a fair dinkum joke. It's the only sport in the world that you can bet on, that you've got to tell everybody what you're going to do. My opinion. What an absolute fair dinkum, joke. Right, number 5, Corabetti. Now it opened up $9. Now you wouldn't see it. $12 bet in the outside ring, started $9. Surge Ahead went from $6 out to $8, I saw, back into $6.50 at one stage, but back out to $8 at the finish of betting. Casino Dancer went from $5 out to $7 at the end of betting. The next runner, Revised, was $25 out to $40, back into $30, but back out to $50. Orator, the runner from Melbourne, was $5 out to, I gave $6.50 back into $5.50, and Specific Choice, very well backed, $10 into $5.50. We gave about 92, and it went straight to the lead, Corabetti, and set a nice Frasers, who we all thought would lead, didn't lead, and it was booted out of the barrier, Corabetti by Jay Collette, and took up the lead. And Frasers sat in second position. He made sure that Frasers wasn't going to be up outside tackling him when they hit the first bend, and he let the horse run along a bit down the back straight, and he held a lead going out of the back straight of about 3 lengths. And when they got down to the 600, he was 4 lengths in front and about 5 turning for home, with Gregory Aeroplane, the opening Avery and starting favourite, sucking up on the fence from 3rd position into 2nd position on the turn, and it finished up running 3rd, beaten 1.5 lengths. And the runner that settled down in last position, Casino Dancer, it made up a mile of ground, hitting the line well, to be beaten 1.3, running 2nd. Now, of course, Moody trains Corabetti, and of course, there's going to be a steward's inquiry into why they didn't tell the Stipes of different tactics that they employed on Corabetti. Well, I think it's a fair dinkum joke. That's one of the things wrong with this game. You're betting on it. Fancy in any sport where you bet on. You bet on all sports these days. Basketball, soccer, football, you name it. Bet on it. But horse racing, now look. Mother Teresa, he does the maps for the Stipes, and the Stipes are saying, now wait, now hang on. We know that this one's going there, and that one's going to be there, and this one's going to be there, and that one's going to be there, and that one's going to be there, and it's not, and that one behind him, and this one maybe go back because it's track wide, ease back from that alley, and this one, because it's got barrier 1, well, it might go a little bit further back now. It might kick up and hold that position, and it might be in 8th position on the fence instead of being last, and so forth and so on. Oh yes, now that's how we think the race is going to be run. Now that's how it should be run, because I'm telling you now, we've got to have a fair dinkum map here that everybody can enjoy, and also you get all the smart people who can rate a race and how fast the pace is going to be, whether it's going to be a moderate race run, a fast race run, medium, and there are some people who've even got 1,000 different readings for wet tracks. Little known pace. They say, oh well, the pace is going to be such and such here, it's going to be a slow race run. It's going to be so it's a rating out of 100. It's going to be 43.2. It's going to be 60.4. Oh yes, and we can tell you. And the Stipes say, now that's going to be there. It's going to be there. That's going to be there. We know it's going to be a slow run race, so that means it's going to go to the lead, and therefore, and it's the favourite, and therefore it should win because it's going to have an easy lead, and the paces are going to be perfect for it, and nothing's going to come up. Well, how dare you come up? You should have been last. You generally ride your horse in last position, and you were upside out tackling that leader. We had you back in last position. Why didn't you tell us you were going to go up there? Oh well, we thought we might give ourselves a bit of chance. We're not going that well, and instead of going back to last, we thought we worked out there wasn't too much pace in the race, and we didn't want to tell everybody because we're fair dinkum starving, and if we told everybody, we want to have a little bit of a kill on this horse because we thought we might be able to go up outside the lead in a slowly run race. Instead of telling everybody, we wouldn't have got the 12 to 1. We would have had to maybe got 6 to 1 or 7 to 1. And every dollar counts in this game. Oh, what you should have told us that the public's got to know how these races have got to be run. They know that it's nearly got to be like the trots. It's going to be there, and that one's going to be here, and it's going to be on the fence, and then from the outside barrier and the mobile start, it's going to go back and ease back there. And the races will finish up like the trots one day. Well, like they are now, flyby. Look at the trots at Menangle Park. Oh my God. There's a certain, the only people that you think you would get one patron there, wouldn't you? They don't get one person through the turnstiles. One person. You think one person would go. That's how the Who's will turn up, finish up if it keeps on going. And they said to Moody here, "Oh, you should have told us you were going to leave." Why should he have to tell you? They wanted to get they would have said, "Oh wait there, mate, you've got to tell you half an hour minimum before the race. Oh, we're going to go forward and lead in this race. There's not a lot of race. We know Fraser's going to lead. We're going to be in front of Fraser's, and we're just going to roll along at a nice steady pace because we know there's not a lot of pace in this race, and we don't mind having a bet." And instead of getting 10 and 12 to 1 like they did, 10 and 11 to 1 like they did, we might have, bookies might have only stuck it up about a 7 or 8 to 1 chance. It costs some money. That's what the game's all about. You don't have to tell anybody what you're going to do. You can't show your hand when you're playing poker. There's prize money involved in this. Not only the betting side of it, there's prize money. There's prize money. There's a big carrot. Not a big carrot compared to there's a carrot at the end of the race, at the end of the thing. At the end of the race, you can't say, "Oh, you're trying to win that prize money," and you tell everyone what you're going to do. Well, that's no good. It's no good. It should be free for all. It's a free for all. Tell no one nothing. Tell no one nothing. It's like the story about Mr. Solid. Poor old Mr. Solid. One day, he had the worst toothache. He had the worst toothache you could possibly think of. He rang up the dentist. He said, "Look," he said, I don't know what I'm going to do." He said, "Well, I'm going to have just to come. I have to. Well, I can tell you're in pain the way you're talking. Get up here as soon as you can." Got to the dentist and come in. He said, "Well, look, a couple of people waiting in the waiting room." Said, and the secretary said, the nurse said, "I can see you're in a bit of agony." The dentist inside. He's got someone in there at the moment. As soon as he finishes, "I'm going to put you. I can see you're in agony. I'm going to put you in front of these two people here. They don't mind. I've slotted you in." "Thank you very much," he said. Anyway, patient came out and he went straight in. And the dentist said, all right, son. I can see you're in a lot of pain. Let your jaw go. Take your hand off your jaw and just open up nice and not real wide. Just open up and let me have a look here." And that's exactly what he did. And he opened his mouth and the dentist said, "All right, now which one is it?" He said, "No." He said, "You're going to have to find out for yourself." He wouldn't even tell him. He was that solid. Now we get to race 5, and this was won by the Avery, Baviro. The second pick, with the owners of You'll Never, Please Step Forward, ran second. It was the opening favourite, You'll Never. It went up $3.20, and the Bureau went up $3.50. You'll Never started $4.60, unlayable, and the Bureau, was $3.20 out to $3.70, back into $3.20. They sat back in the field, second last and third last, in a fairly fast run race, I should say, because early on in the race, Spacecraft and Black Jag had a bit of a tussle, and Monton was trapped wide. I don't know how from barrier 2, but he was T. Marshall, and when he moved up on the outside of Black Jag and also Spacecraft, they kicked up, and he was forced to go forward on Monton, and when he did that, the pace was on all the way, and it suited Baviro and You'll Never, who ran on from well back, and they got the chocolates. Baviro beating You'll Never by 0.2 of a length, and Single, who had every possible chance running third, beaten 3 lengths. We only gave 96% in this race. Not worth a caser. The next race, we gave 103 in race 6. Hallelujah. Race 4, I told you, didn't I? We bet 92% in that race, Corabetti's race. I'll go back to it. These were the flux. Did I give them? I think I did. Of course I did. In race 5, as I say, 96% only. Race 6, 103. This race was won by Nizrock. Cowboy Tommy Terrific rode the favourite, Berry. Well, you know, you look pretty on things, don't you, when you're up near the lead and no pace on a thing of gaze and you kick clear. When it comes down to the nitty gritty and you've got to use your melon, sometimes they do, you know, they do get shelved, don't they? He got shelved here, Cowboy Tommy Terrific. He was out. It went straight to the lead first class ticket. He sat across. He was on his outside, 2 back behind him, pulling its head off when the pace slackened. Coming down the side was Nizrock. J. Parr, very underrated rider, jovial Josh Parr. He said, "Wait a minute, you've pulled up here on me. I'm pulling. I'll ease out here." And when he eased out, he said, "Oh well, I might as well keep on going." And all of a sudden, when he got past the 2 leaders, first class ticket and Marty, the odds-on favourite, well, he kept on going, and all of a sudden he got a 5-length break on them in a twinkling of an eye. And when he got to the turn, he was a good 4 lengths in front. And by the time they got down to the winning post, Marty, who Cowboy Tommy Terrific had missed the boat, but kept on fighting on and was beaten 1 length, and coming from second or third last position, making up a mile of ground, was Adora Beale, now trained by Joseph Pride. It was a Guy Walder horse. It ran third, beaten only 1.1 lengths. It was a very good run. We bet 103% in that race. Race 7, we got 106. Oh, this was fat. And this showed that there was no bias on the track because Bretan went straight to the lead, ridden by Bold Blake Shin. Sitting on the outside was Sinjoran, and they didn't notify the Stipes before 30 minutes before the race. They were changing their tactics. They said that that camp realised that up near the lead, the way the track was playing was an advantage. So they said to the Stipes less than 30 minutes before they jumped, we're going to go forward if we think it's going to, if we want to go forward. That should be the new go by all the trainers and all the jockeys. That's got to be the new tactic. That's all they've got to do to save all that farting in church and cause all the problems that Moody might have a little bit of a hiccup with. Just say to the Stipes, we're going to leave it up to the hickey hockeys, and if they want to go forward, it all depends on how they think. If they want to go forward, or they want to go back, or they want to sit in the middle, or they want to eat, I'm going to leave it up to them and sum the race up after they go a little way to what they think. And I don't think there can be any questions asked. Anyway, the Stipes said, "No, you should have told us this, but anyway, we won't fine you now, but we'll fine you next time." And they said, "Oh, well, we're going to go forward if we want on Sinjoran." And did they do that? Bretan went straight to the lead. James McDonald came across, sat on the outside of it on Sinjoran, couldn't get past it all the way down the straight. Margins were 0.2 of a length. The favourite, Wine and Dine. How would it be favourite? It wouldn't be favourite anywhere. God's in Him started 5-2 favourite. It started the second pick, Jean Torina, another Moody trained horse who had its chance, and so did the favourite God's in Him. Eased off heels, topping the rise, but couldn't round the leaders up. It was beaten. It ran third, beaten 2.5 lengths. We got to the last race, and here we saw a race where we bet losing figures again. We only gave 96%. And who won this race? Cool Ring, ridden by Horseman Bowman. I thought there might have been a bit more. I thought he might have been going straight to the lead, Horseman Bowman. He was too clever for me and for everybody else. He wasn't, but he looked after the grumble and grunters. It went straight to the lead. The 150 to 1 chance, Nothing Like Luca, and sitting on its outside was Big Bonanza. Nothing Like Luca drew on the outside of Big Bonanza, but crossed it, went straight to the lead. Big Bonanza come and sat on its outside. Horseman Bowman slotted in perfectly on the favourite Cool Ring, eased off the heels, turning for home. By the same token, the second pick, the opening favourite, we put it up 6-4, Marianne, and at the finish of betting, it was $3.80, wanting to get out to $4. It sat in 4th position on the fence, looking at the leaders, had its chance, and the opening second favourite, Cool Ring, who we put up a $4 chance, got out to $4.20, which you wouldn't see, but came in and started $3.30 favourite. And as I say, eased off the heels, the 2 leaders' heels, and got clear topping the rise, but only fell in by the half a length margin. The second pick, Marianne, was only 3/4 of a length away, 0.7 of a length away in 3rd position, but as I say, having every possible chance like the winner. And the second runner, Pajaro, trained by I Own the Lead Gay, she never led on this. It hasn't got any pace. Well, it was a bit dour early in the race. Pajaro, it was very well back from $10. I actually saw 11 into $6.50 at the end of betting. It settled down in second last position and was eased off heels, turning for home, storming down the outside, but was beaten a half a length by the runner that had the cosy run, Cool Ring. That was about the meeting. The win situation, well, go back to the track. The track today, well, there was a good 3 upgraded to a good 2, and we saw 2 runners pulled out. Who were they? Well, in race 6, number 13, Thrill Seeking, was a late scratching because of the firmness of the track, and so was Far Out in race 7. It was a late scratching because of the firmness of the track. Something to keep in mind. Their ham and eggs mightn't be too sound. And as I say, the track was upgraded from good 3 to a good 2. The rail was 4 metres out. The wind situation was a switch around. It went from a more or less a straight northerly or a northwesterly to a later in the day by about race 5. So the first 4 races, 4 races were a bit of a northwesterly, and the last 4 races were nearly an easterly wind. So that wind did change around and could have had a little bit of bearing on times, but no bearing on the results. And it was funny during race 5. This is my last comment on the meeting. Race 5, of course, we see them a lot at Rose Hill. The police with the sniffer dogs, and they were going in and out of the pub there, sniffing and running in between chairs and tables, and going up near the glass where a lot of women were sitting and with their boyfriends and all the other pen and inkers, and the dog, every time the dog went up in between their sniffing, he went in sniffing but came out without anything. So they had the sniffer dogs there today. The sniffer dogs there at the big pub at Randwick today. In the public area, of course, they wouldn't have any. If they went into the members, upstairs in the members and whatever, the sniffer dogs, they wouldn't. It'd be the same result. They wouldn't have any luck there. The sniffer dogs, of course, in the members. Good evening.